Good evening, everybody. My name is Ross. I'm the facilitator for this get-together this evening. I want to welcome you all here to College and Career Fairs. First, thank you for joining us. At the end of the session, you're going to be asked to do a quick survey. I think there's only 4 questions. I strongly recommend that you sign up for other sessions. There's more sessions, not tonight, but tomorrow. This presentation will be recorded, or is being recorded, excuse me. And if you want to go back and look at certain sections, feel free. It will be on the website of College2Career Fairs. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dan, who is representing Penn State tonight. So I'm going to stop sharing, and you're going to pop in. It's all yours.
All right. Let's see here. There we go. My screen just went away from me here a second. So folks, how you doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. I really appreciate you coming to learn a little bit more about Penn State, Penn State University, and all of our multiple campuses and all of that. Just some background information. My name is Dan Pinshot. I'm the Director of Enrollment, one of our Penn State campuses. I'll explain a little bit more about that as we get into the presentation. Some housekeeping. I encourage questions, and I plan to leave ample time at the end of my presentation to be able to answer your questions. Please post those questions in the Q&A. Keep those coming throughout the presentation, and at the end I will try to get through as many of those questions as I possibly can. Now, if you bear with me for a second, I'm going to get my presentation shared, and let's make that, put that in presentation mode. There we go. And hopefully you now are seeing my Penn State presentation. So folks, we're going to get started, and what we're going to be talking about today is really about finding your fit and how you can find your fit at Penn State. Some of the areas that we're going to be covering include academic fit, things like majors and minors, the campus physicality, the campus size and the various locations. Boy, Penn State has a lot to offer you there. Some things within the social fit realm, which includes sports, clubs, and various activities, as well as we will be discussing costs and student aid. So let's get right into it. One of the things that I think is really we're really proud of here at Penn State is that you can study almost anything at Penn State. We have more than 275 different majors. That is a phenomenal number of majors for students to be able to pursue. And quite frankly, I challenge you to find any other college or university that can offer you more majors than Penn State does. Between our majors, our many minors, as well as all of our certificate programs, you really can craft just about any program for any outcome in mind. If you want to think about our majors in terms of the different areas of study, organizationally, we break down the university into academic colleges, and I think this can help you to understand a little bit better about the different opportunities at Penn State. Agricultural sciences is one of our academic areas of study. In fact, we have one of the largest ag schools in the nation. Penn State was actually founded as an agricultural college. And so that's where our roots are. We have a plethora of different majors around agricultural sciences. It's not really just about farming anymore. There's a lot of food preparation, not culinary, but food safety, wildlife and fisheries, as well as for those students that want to go on to veterinary school, we have some great programs that prepare you very well for veterinary school as well. We have our College of Arts and Architecture is home to some of the most competitive performing arts programs, but we also have visual arts, and yes, we have a 5-year architecture program, and Penn State's really proud of that. Our College of Business, our Smeal College of Business Administration, is one of the top business programs in the nation. We have one of the top ranked communication colleges with any university in the nation. We also have some great programs in earth and mineral sciences. We're a top education school. Pennsylvania actually is one of the top states in which to get certified as a teacher, and Penn State's programs here are just phenomenal at preparing students for education careers. In fact, Pennsylvania produces more education graduates than any other state in the nation. We also export the most teachers out of Pennsylvania to other states. And one of the reasons is because the standards for certifying teachers in Pennsylvania is just so phenomenally high. And really, if you can get certified as a teacher from Penn State, you can teach in any state in the nation. We also have one of the top engineering programs in the nation. We have about 24 different areas of engineering that you can study, and almost all of those are top 10 programs. Our College of Health and Human Development offers a plethora of options for students, whether you want to study health policy, communications disorders, or in fact, that's the home of our top ranked hospitality management program. Our College of the Liberal Arts offers numerous majors in core liberal arts fields, things like social history, social sciences, psychology, sociology, um, communications, arts, and sciences. That's an area that I teach in. There's so many different programs for you to study with a true core liberal arts curriculum. We also have a College of Nursing that is very, very competitive, and our College of Science offers numerous majors. Most often, students about our College of Science if they want to pursue maybe a pre-med or program or go on to medical school. And one of the things that we're really proud of at Penn State is the excellent placement that we have for medical school. The national average is around 50, 54, 55% in terms of the number of students from a college that apply and get accepted into medical school. And at Penn State, we're placing between 84 and 85% most every year. So you can see we do an excellent job of preparing students for medical school, but there are many, many other options within our College of Science. Now, for those of you that don't know exactly what you want to do, maybe you're undecided in terms of what that major should be, Penn State offers the Division of Undergraduate Studies, and it's actually our most popular academic area for incoming students. We have more students start in the Division of Undergraduate Studies than in any of our academic majors. What's really unique about Undecided is that students will work with a professional advisor to be able to explore their passions, their interests, their aptitude, and by the time you hit your junior year, you have to declare a major, and that's the only area of study that you can't earn a degree in. So don't worry, you can't graduate with a degree in Undecided at Penn State, but it really is a great way to get your education started if you aren't exactly sure of what you want to do. I said earlier, Penn State offers many campuses, are really very unique. I think that it helps to understand that there are various pathways that students can take through Penn State. For many students, they're going to start and finish at the same campus. That's the 4-year plan where um, uh, they'll start and finish probably at the University Park campus or maybe at another campus, but they'll be able to complete all of their degree requirements in the same location. But actually, for the majority of our students at Penn State, they're on the 2+2 plan, which means that they're going to start at one campus and they're going to finish at another. And what that usually means is that they're going to start at one of our smaller Commonwealth campuses, and most likely they're going to finish at the University Park campus, often referred to as the main campus. To give you a little bit of a sense of what Penn State is really like, this is a map of the state of Pennsylvania. That's the keystone of Pennsylvania. And you can see all of the blue dots, they represent different campuses within the Penn State system. Now, University Park, located in central Pennsylvania, is our main campus. There are about 47,000 students at that one campus location. It is our largest and our most competitive campus. But we have 19 other undergraduate campuses outside of University Park. They range in size from about 500 students to about 5,000 students. At the campuses that have housing available, you can note that because within the little blue dot, you'll see a little orange Monopoly house. Those are the campuses that have on-campus, university-owned residential living opportunities. At our other campuses that don't have the little Monopoly house, housing is typically available off-campus from private landlords. What's unique about Penn State is that for most programs, almost all programs, you can begin your study at any campus. The majority of our 275 majors require students to complete their degree at the University Park campus, but you're going to find a host of majors, maybe as few as 5, as many as 35, that are available at each of our campuses to be completed entirely there. So just to put a little perspective, I'm actually from the Beaver campus. You can see that it's closest to Ohio. I do have on-campus housing available there. On one of the smaller campuses, I have about 650 students on our campus. We have students from 26 different states, 9 foreign countries, a very diverse mix of students at our campus. One of the advantages of starting at a campus other than University Park, especially if you're an out-of-state student like yourselves, is that the cost of tuition is significantly lower. And you're going to be able to save a lot of money, even if you're only on the 2+2 plan. By starting your first 2 years at a smaller campus, not only are you getting smaller class sizes, more one-on-one attention, quite frankly, you're getting a better transition to your college experience, but you're saving a significant amount of money from the tuition differential. And for some students, they're going to find that they can start and finish a major of their choosing at a campus like Beaver, and so the savings are that much more significant. And quite frankly, that small campus environment can be a blessing for some students that really excel in that environment. Regardless of what campus that you attend, what campus you start at, what campus you finish at within the Penn State system, there are so many opportunities for students to get involved. Research is a really big part of Penn State. We are a tier 1 research university. Our faculty are doing tons of research. You can see this photo here. It's of some underwater research that's going on with one of our faculty members. And why does that matter to students? Well, very often undergraduates get the opportunity to assist, to work with faculty on their research, to get that hands-on experience. That's phenomenal. It's something you can't really even put a price tag on. What's I think most significant is that that's a way of enhancing all of the learning and applying all of the learning that you're getting in your classroom. Just as an example, at the Beaver campus, one of our faculty members in chemistry was working with an undergraduate student between his freshman and sophomore years. They were doing research over the summer, and it was related to cell phones and trying to come up with some chemical properties to enhance the battery life of cell phones. And through this process, they were able, as a partnership, they were able to discover an entirely new element. And it was such a significant discovery that they were able to jointly author academic papers, and they actually presented their research at 2 academic conferences. That is not something that a sophomore typically gets to do, and that's one of the advantages of starting at a smaller campus. Our faculty are doing some really phenomenal research at all of our campus locations, but on a smaller campus, it's much easier for undergraduate students to get involved, to find their fit there, and to participate in that. Um, when it comes to launching your career, well, Penn State does it as best as anyone out there. In fact, we host the largest career fair each year. At Penn State, it's the largest in the nation. We bring in employers from Fortune 500 companies, all of the top employers across the nation, and it's a great opportunity for students to come and meet prospective employers and to network and to get their resumes out there. Our NBNA Career Services Center helps students from all campus locations to improve their resumes, to prepare for interviews, to really launch their job search. And while Penn State cannot guarantee any student employment, we do everything that we can to help students prepare for their graduation, and we extend those services throughout a graduate's entire life. So it's something that you can turn back to if you need to do a career change, you need to reinvent yourself, you just need a fresh start. Penn State will continue to help our graduates throughout their life. For those of you that are interested in studying abroad, we actually have over 300 different programs across the globe. Each year, about 2,400 students participate in study abroad programs, and it doesn't matter what campus you're at. We have students, sophomores that are doing study abroad, students that are heading into their senior year doing study abroad. We really can work with students, and what's great about study abroad, especially if you're an out-of-state student, is for that semester that you're participating in study abroad, you're actually paying in-state tuition at Penn State. So study abroad can actually save an out-of-state student some money, which is sort of a pretty cool thing. And for those students that like to get involved in life outside of the classroom, and frankly, I hope that's all of you. We have over 1,200 different clubs and activities across the 20 campuses of the university. What you're seeing in the little block here is actually a picture of Thon. That's probably our largest organization. Dance Marathon is actually the largest philanthropic organization that's run by college students in the world. Each year they raise between $8 and $10 million to support the fight against pediatric cancer. They bring participants together for a 46-hour dance marathon every February. And students from all Penn State campuses, all the different clubs and organizations across the university get involved in this event, and it really is one of those life-changing events. But we also have plenty of smaller clubs, co-curricular activities, student government associations. Quite frankly, if you have an interest in just about anything and you can find 7 of your friends to join you, you can start your own club. In fact, we have a club for people named Bob, and because there were people that didn't like that, then we developed another club for people whose name isn't Bob. My favorite club in the entire university is the Chicken Wing Eating Club. I really would like to be their advisor, but I understand that there's a waiting list for that, so I don't know if I'll ever have that opportunity. But as you can see, there's so many opportunities outside of the classroom to get involved and to enhance your college experience, and we're really proud of that. For those of you that are interested in athletics, Penn State's it's a big sports school. At our University Park campus, we're NCAA Division I. At 5 of our smaller campuses, we're NCAA Division III at the Abington, Altoona, Berks, Erie, and Harrisburg campuses, and all other campuses participate in the PSUAC, that's the Penn State Conference, as well as the USCAA, the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. Basically, that's a small conference. It's similar to the NCAA, but it's limited to small colleges and universities, typically that have enrollments of about 1,500 or fewer students. What it does is it provides a level playing field for athletes at a smaller campus, but it still gives them the opportunity to play on a national stage. And we're real proud of the fact that we've had many very, very strong competitive teams in the USCA. In fact, at Penn State Beaver, our women's basketball team has won the national championship not once but twice, most recently this past March at the national championship held here in Pennsylvania. So we're real proud of our team, and we're proud of all of those opportunities for participating in sports. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to apply to Penn State. There are multiple ways to apply. You can apply through Penn State's own My Penn State application. We also participate in the Common application and the Coalition application. And while the Common app is very common, I will tell you that at the end of this presentation, I will have information for you about how you can have your application fee waived simply by participating in this presentation. And if you were to take advantage of that, we would need you to apply through the My Penn State app in order to have your application fee processed. When you apply to Penn State, you're going to start by building your program of study. You're going to look at your academic area, and you're going to select, if you have one, an intended major. So for instance, if you're interested in business as your academic area of interest, and maybe your intended major is accounting. Once you have that academic part done, then you're going to go on and you're going to select your first choice starting campus. You're also going to select an alternate choice starting campus. Now, for many students, they want to start at the main campus at University Park, so they're going to list University Park as their starting campus. But we require students to select another campus, and if you're not sure whether you want to start at University Park or whether you want to start at a smaller campus and take advantage of those savings, many students will still list University Park as their starting campus and another campus as their alternate choice campus. Keep in mind that you can always send an email to undergraduate admissions at Penn State and ask for a change in that application. It's usually easier to change from University Park to another campus because depending upon the time of year, the criteria for University Park may have gone up, and that may not be an option for you down the road. Remember that different campuses have different criteria, and our University Park campus is our most competitive campus. One of the questions that it will ask you if you are applying to University Park as your starting campus, it will ask you if you want to be considered for the optional summer start at University Park. And what that means is simply if you do not meet the criteria for your starting campus for University Park in the fall, they will look at you for summer admission before they look at your alternate choice campus. The admissions criteria for the summer at University Park is just a hair lower than it is during the fall. And so it may be an opportunity for a small percentage of students who wouldn't otherwise get to start at University Park. Because we ask for these two different campuses, your starting campus and an alternate starting campus, we don't really talk about acceptance rates because at Penn State, you're probably going to be admissible to another campus if you're not admissible to your first choice campus. So understand that this is really about giving more opportunities to students to be able to start at Penn State. And then finally, based off of the intended major, we will ask you what campus you plan to end at. And so this is where you can indicate if you want to finish at University Park or maybe you want to stay at a smaller campus. That choice is yours. And keep this in mind, none of this is locked in. This is your admissions application, but we know full well that students do change their their program of study, and they even change their campus pathways as they experience Penn State, and that's perfectly acceptable, and we're happy to work with students. Now, when it comes to evaluating you for admission, we're looking at three different areas. We're looking at your self-reported academic record. That is the equivalent of your high school transcript. We do not request, in fact, we do not accept high school transcripts any longer. We ask students to get a copy of their high school transcript and to enter that information into what we call the self-reported academic record. And that's where we're going to look at things like your cumulative GPA from 9th through 11th grade. We're going to look at the academic rigor of the classes. We're going to look at your senior year schedule. We're going to take a particular look at your math levels. Those can be incredibly important as students get evaluated for specific majors and areas of academic interest. We also will look at standardized test scores, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but we do accept both SAT and ACT scores. We want official scores sent from the testing service, and we do look at a single sitting test date. We do not super score. We don't allow students to cherry pick their highest math score, their highest verbal score, and put them together into one super score. We also do not require any SAT subject tests. There are some supporting materials. Penn State recommends that you complete a personal statement and an activities list that are part of the application. Those are optional, but we do recommend that. And then there are some special program requirements that may specify an audition or even a portfolio review. Typically, those are within the College of Arts and Architecture. Pretty much none of the majors outside of there have those additional requirements. Now, I said I was going to talk a little bit more about the SAT and the ACT, and that's because this year, for the very first time, we're making it optional whether you want to include SAT and ACT scores in your evaluation or you would like to exclude those. So for those students that choose the standardized test scores as part of their evaluation, we're going to be looking at all three of those components. For those students that opt out of including the standardized test scores, then we're simply going to be looking at the academic record in a little bit more depth and a little bit more detail, along with your supporting materials. We know this year that it's very difficult to get your SAT or your ACT taken. There are many challenges thanks to the COVID pandemic. And so we're seeing a significant number of students choosing not to include their scores in their evaluation. And that's fine. There's no advantage to including them. There's no disadvantage if you opt out of the tests. So it's just the evaluation is going to be slightly different, and you get to choose as you submit your application how you want us to evaluate you. To help you estimate your eligibility, we have the middle 50% range chart here. This shows you that middle 50% range by GPA, by SAT or ACT scores, and it's broken down with University Park on the right side and all of the other campuses on the left side. You can see University Park is a bit more competitive. That middle 50% range is a bit higher, typically around a 3.5, 3.6 to a 4.0 for GPA, and 1250 to a 1430 for that SAT. It's a little bit more forgiving at the campuses, but keep in mind we are competitive at all Penn State locations. It's just that the campuses do have a little bit of a broader range. In terms of the enrollment timeline, now's the time to be completing your application. And in fact, early application deadline is typically November 1st. One of the changes that we made this year is that we are extending that early action deadline from November 1st to November 15th. So you actually have about 2 more weeks to have a complete application on file. And we are guaranteeing those students that apply by November 15th, they will have an admissions decision before December 24th, basically before the end of the calendar year. Once you have offers of admission to Penn State, just as with most all colleges out there, you have until May 1st to make your final decision. In terms of tuition and fees, this is an area where you can really see what the costs are, and specifically the savings by starting at a Commonwealth campus. Tuition and fees alone at University Park is about $35,000 compared to an average of about $22,500 at the Commonwealth campuses. It differs a few dollars depending upon which campus, but generally speaking, that's a good average, and it shows you that you can save 12, 13, sometimes $14,000 a year on tuition alone. Room and board would be the same regardless of what Penn State location you're at. One of the things that I will also point out is that scholarship money is a bit more plentiful at our Commonwealth campuses as well. So the savings may be quite greater than what you're even seeing here on this chart if you were to choose to start at a Commonwealth campus because your opportunity to receive a scholarship is much greater. And then, of course, for financial aid, Penn State makes it really easy. All we require is the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA.gov. You can complete that financial aid application, and that will consider you for all forms of need-based financial aid. And you can begin filing that FAFSA right now. It's actually opened up today and file it. We recommend filing that FAFSA before or by December 1st, or certainly no later than the end of the calendar year for maximum consideration. Now, I also promised you that at the end of the presentation, I would tell you some information about how you can get your application fee waived for participating today. It's real simple. All I need you to do is shoot an email with your My Penn State user ID. So you go to My Penn State, create an account if you don't have one already, and I don't care about your password, but I do want to know what your user ID is. Shoot an email to feewaiver@psu.edu and include your user ID in, and we will attach the $65 application fee waiver and save you some money and help you to apply to Penn State pretty easily there. All right. So again, you just go to admissions.psu.edu to create that My Penn State account, and just make sure that you send that email to feewaiver@psu.edu with your user ID. So in summary, to sort of wrap up the presentation, I hope that you've started to get a bit of a flavor for what Penn State is really all about. We are a world-class university with 20 undergraduate campuses, 275 plus different majors, more than 1,200 clubs and activities. We have across the university over 77,000 undergraduate students, and our alumni network has more than 700,000 living alumni. We in fact have the largest dues-paying alumni association in the world. We're very proud of that. And at the end of the day, I can tell you that being part of the Penn State network, the Penn State family, is a tremendous benefit. It's a tremendous advantage because Penn Staters are known all over the globe, and Penn Staters love to do nothing more than to help other Penn Staters when it comes to careers and landing those great jobs. I am quite certain that you can find your fit somewhere at Penn State because there is just so much that we have to offer for you. And I want to thank you for sitting through this presentation. I do hope that you learned some stuff. And if you give me a moment here, I will stop sharing my screen and I will get to your Q&A. I see one question is already in there, and I would encourage you, if you have more questions, to go ahead and please put them in. So the question is, the map of Pennsylvania that you showed, are those all locations for Penn State University or different colleges in the state of Pennsylvania? That is a great question. Penn State is a system unlike any that you have in California. When I think about California, and I've recruited there for the past decade, uh, you have individual campuses within your UC system or your Cal State system, and each of those campuses is its own individual entity. At Penn State, that's not what we're all about. We are one university geographically dispersed. There is one application. The majors are the same at all the campuses. You can meet your requirements for your majors at any one of the campuses. English 15, or I teach Speech 100. That Speech 100 class is the same at the Beaver campus as it is at the Erie campus, as it is at University Park. It really doesn't matter where you begin within the system. It's all Penn State, and that's what's very different. Our campuses are not JUCOs, we're not junior colleges, we're not community colleges. We are Penn State. We just offer smaller options and larger options, and hopefully that answers the question. There's a completely different system of state schools in Pennsylvania and community colleges, and Penn State doesn't have anything to do with those. The 20 campuses that I showed you are true bona fide Penn State campuses of varying sizes. We have another question. Is there an education option for BSMD Penn program? I'm not sure what the question is. Thank you. Okay, so in full disclosure, it's getting close to midnight here in Pennsylvania, so my brain isn't working real good. Is there an early decision option for, you're talking about the pre-med program that we offer, I believe, and pre-med is actually one of the very unique programs at Penn State. You do have to apply by the early action deadline. You also don't have the option of not including SAT scores. That is still a requirement. If you're interested in the pre-med program, you will have to participate in an interview. Because of COVID, they may be doing those interviews via Zoom technology or something similar. But that is a really very specific program it's very competitive, and it's limited to a very small number of students that get offered that each year. Keep in mind that our early action deadline is not early decision. Penn State doesn't have early decision. We're not asking students to make a commitment to attend our university when they apply early action. It's simply by completing your application by, in this case, November 15th, we're guaranteeing you a decision before the end of the calendar year, but it's not binding at all in any way. So hopefully that answered that question for you. Thanks for the clarification on that. We also have a question that says, do you have an IB policy? I guess the question is, do we accept IB credits? Yes, we do. We accept AP credits, and we also accept like dual enrollment credits from other colleges and universities. If you go to our admissions.psu.edu website, there's a whole section on how to obtain credits through those various means, and you can learn a whole lot more about that. But yes, we do accept some IB credits, AP, and the like. Any more questions? Now's your chance to get your questions answered. Not seeing any more. Give it that appropriate Zoom pause. Well, I would just like to thank all of you for participating in the presentation. I hope that you found it beneficial. I hope that you will learn more about Penn State by checking out admissions.psu.edu. And for those of you who may want to reach out to me in particular with questions, I can be reached at djpenn Pinchot. Let me spell that out for you. DJ, P as in Paul, INCHOT at psu.edu. That's DJ Pinchot at psu.edu. Just let me know that you were part of the virtual college fair tonight, and I will be happy to answer whatever questions that you may have. So with that, I just want to thank you all for participating and wish you a good night.
Don't forget that there'll be a little survey as you're leaving, only 4 questions. Do sign up for other sessions and have a great evening.
All right. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much, Dan.
All right. Did it go well?
I think it went very well. Nice,
Cool.
nice, smooth pace. Unlike some previous presenters I've seen, you weren't overly too many slides, and they felt the need to get through them all.
Well, I hope it was good. I actually I try to keep it as bare bones as possible. We are a complicated place to explain, so it takes a little bit longer for us. But I got through that in about 30 minutes, and that was about my plan. So thank you very much for hosting us,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you a very pleasant evening.
You too. Get some sleep.
All right, thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.